Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a piano I very much enjoyed playing. This is a Pearl River Studio Upright, model UP115. The UP, we're pretty sure, stands for upright piano, as it does for many manufacturers' model numbers. And the 115 is the height of the piano in centimeters, so it's about 45 inches tall. Standard height for a institutional style studio upright, which this is. It has double casters, really rugged, chunky construction. It's meant for schools, and two people please, on either side of the piano can move it around into different practice rooms or across a chorus room, band room. It's really made for that institutional use. We're happy to report, though, that it has not been an institution. We had to do very little to this piano when it came in. It was almost in tune even when it came in. I did tune it earlier today, but it was not far off. My colleagues have prepared it, cleaned it up, regulated it, didn't need much. So it's a piano that's so far had a very easy life, not being subject to the abuses that you would expect from a school or conservatory or any sort of teaching area. It has not been played very heavily, and it has not been beat up. And as evidence of that, it does come with this original matching duet bench. The piano is oak. The bench is oak. It matches perfectly. Opens up the store music. It even has a, let's see if I can get this in the camera. There's a key here that will close up the fall board and the lid. We tested the key, does work. But what I'm bringing this up for is that the bench being in such good condition, barely any wear on it, is an indication to us that the piano itself, likewise, hasn't had much wear, because it's usually the piano benches that get beat up pretty fast compared to the piano, as the benches are shoved around, sat on, tripped over. So when we see a piano come in like this, it gives us confidence that this piano has had an easy life so far, and that once we work on it, it will be good to go for the 10 years of the warranty that we offer on all of our pianos, so long as you make sure it's in tune twice a year by a professional technician and kept out of extremes of humidity. You can, if you wish in the future, also trade this piano in for precisely its instrument sales price. And this is oftentimes exactly the type of piano that students, or rather teachers, want their students to get started on. A piano that's well made, modest. It's a smaller piano. It's not a big upright piano. But it's well regulated. I really enjoyed playing it very much. And it gets new students started on the right track so that they can practice, develop their skills, and as they get better, it may be up to the teacher's discretion to recommend a nicer piano. And oftentimes they recommend specifically our store because of our 100% lifetime trade-up policy. The price you pay for this piano or any other piano, if you should choose a different piano, that's exactly the trade-in value with us. All you have to do when you return to us is pay the difference in price between piano 1 and piano 2, any shipping and tax if it pertains. But it doesn't appreciate with us as long as you take good care of the piano, and teachers love us for that reason. It gets their students started on a modest but well-regulated piano like this, and as the student gets better, they recommend a bigger. After this, I would recommend at least a baby grand piano. It has a very deep sound, as studio uprights seem to have, with the big chunky case. There's something about it that I think helps give it a resonant quality. It's a really impressive sound that it can produce, despite being relatively on the small side. And Pearl River themselves is a company with a factory in Guangzhou, China. They are, in my opinion, some of the best pianos I've ever played made in China, and I'm always really happy to work on them. They, in my opinion, seem very thoughtfully put together. Whatever design they use for the string scale, so that's the arrangement of the strings as determined by the plate, soundboard, and bridges, it always produces, in my opinion, a wonderfully beautiful dark, mellow sound that reminds me a lot of some European pianos, like a Petrov, for example. It reminds me a lot of that, and I'm always really delighted to play it for that reason. I get the sound I want out of this piano when I play them, and I very frequently make them my pick when I do a video on them. If I didn't already have an upright piano, I wouldn't mind practicing on this at home. It's a very, I think musically, really beautiful sounding piano, really dark, more intimate sound, but very much capable of a deeper sound, louder sound if you need to bring it out. Accordingly, I'll rate the tune a 4 on the scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. Definitely on the mellow side. Not a whole lot of harshness in the tone whatsoever. It's just, it's not simply a mellow tone. There's something quite very deep about it, which appeals to me. As I said, it reminds me of Petrov pianos made in the Czech Republic. The touch, I think, it's not hard at all. It's very smooth, very controllable and responsive, and that's the result we get when we regulate them. But it's not too hard. I'll give it also a 4 on the scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm. 5 would be in the middle. This one's on the easier side. Maybe especially good for younger students who aren't used to the more massive feel of a larger piano yet, or if you just prefer a lighter touch. I know I do. My ideal type of piano would be one with a 4 and 4 tone and touch rating. This piano pretty much has that, and I'll say we don't seem to get them very much. A lot of the mellow pianos we have here and come across tend to have a firmer touch. It seems to be the way they're made. And likewise, brighter pianos often have a easier touch, and a lot of them are in the middle. So especially, I've met a lot of shoppers over the years, older adults who are returning to the piano after many years' absence, and you want that warm, beautiful sound, but you don't want to overtax your fingers, especially if you've gotten older, and I completely understand that. As I said, I prefer a light touch myself. This piano, I would highly encourage you to take a look at it. It's really just the right combination. And as I said, we don't seem to get 4 and 4 tone and touch pianos all too often. So, really happy with the way it turned out. It does have a middle pedal practice mute also, which I will say a lot of institutional style pianos don't have, like a Yamaha P22, Kawai UST8, Steinway 1098, Baldwin Hamilton. They weren't made with a practice mute because in the school that's useless. So it's a nice thoughtful addition to this piano, in my opinion, that Pearl River added to include a practice mute to make it suitable for home use, especially if you're in an apartment or row home and don't want to disturb your neighbors. It works just like it would in any upright piano. Press down the pedal, move it over to the left, it holds itself in place for you. And instead of hitting the strings directly, the hammers strike the string through the felt, making it much softer. So yeah, really wonderful piano. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I enjoyed working on it. And well, we hope that you can come out and see it for yourself. You can play it along with anything else in our inventory. But if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions.